Hey everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to make a bracelet today, and I'm going to use some of the beads that came in my most recent package from the Adornable Elements Beads of the Month Club. This month I got the Hot and Trendy beads. And I'm also going to be using some fire polish beads from a previous fire polish beads of the month club. And some seed beads from my stash. I have a coupon code for the Beads of the Month Club. It's Teresa10, and I'll put it on the screen here and in the description box below, along with a link to their website in case you want to check it out and maybe sign up for some of their clubs. The coupon will save you 10% off the first month of whichever club or clubs you decide to sign up for. So in here I have the pastel olivine pip beads that came in my Hot and Trendy Beads of the Month Club. In here I have the metallic ice 4mm fire polish beads that came in a previous fire polish Beads of the Month Club. I have some Miyuki 11.0 and 15.0 seed beads from my stash, and some Miyuki 8.0 seed beads from my stash. The color is gilt lined opal. I have a couple of wire guardians, a couple of jump rings, and a toggle clasp. I'm going to be using a size 11 beading needle, and I'm going to be using my 8-pound fire line in smoke and my 8-pound fire line in crystal. I'll be using both of them. And of course I'll be using my scissors and thread burner to cut and burn down my fire line, and my pliers to put my findings on at the end. I think that's everything. I'll try to find links and put links to everything that I'm using in the description box below, everything that didn't come in this subscription. So hold on, I'll get some of this out of the way and I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to make a little flower here. This is going to be a bracelet. It's going to be a herringbone base, and I'm going to put some little flowers on top of it. And I'm going to make one of my little flowers now. I don't know how many I'm going to need yet because I'll have to get my base made before I know how many I need, but I'm going to go ahead and make one of them. So I've got 6 of my pip beads separated by 11.0s. I've got 6 pip beads and 6 11.0s. And I'm going to tie these into a circle, and I'm going to tie a knot. I'm going to try to leave enough of a tail that I can put a needle on and sew in probably about 6 or 8 inches. I don't know for sure. I don't often tie knots, but when I'm making a little bitty something like this, I usually do because it helps to keep it nice and tight. I'm going to tie a knot. I'm going to tie a knot the other way, switch hands. And this is what I'm using my smoke fire line for. And then my base is going to be white, so I'm going to use my crystal fire line for that. I'm going to make sure I'm not caught around anything here and tie another knot. Make sure it goes down between my beads, not on top of my beads. Okay, now I'm going to go through a couple of beads to get away from my knot. And I'm going to come out one of my 11.0s. Now I'm going to take a 15.0 and my fire polish bead, my 4mm, and another 15.0. And I'm going to find the opposite 11.0 and go in the opposite side. So I'm coming out my tail out of the way here. I'm coming out this side of this 11-0, I'm going to go on the other side of the opposite 11-0. Pull that down, make sure my fire polish bead lands on top of my little flower I'm making. Now I'm going to go back up the 15-0 fire polish bead and the 15-0. Make sure not to get caught around any of my petals. And now I'm going to go in the other side of this 11-0 that I started in. Make a really simple little flower there. Now I'm just going to sew through a few beads and tie a few half-hitch knots. And go under this thread bridge here, make a loop and go through the loop, bring my thread down slowly, go through another couple of beads, go under this thread bridge, make a loop, go through the loop, pull my thread down slowly. I'm going to do that one more time. Now I'm going to sew through another couple of beads, and I'm going to cut my thread down a little bit here, leave a little bit of a piece of thread that I can burn down with my thread burner. I dropped it now. Oh, there it is. I got a new thread burner. I mentioned on one of my last previous videos that I had broken my thread burner. I got a new one here. I had a lady who, she's been a subscriber of my channel since the very, very beginning. She might have been my very first subscriber. And not long after I started making videos, I misplaced my thread burner. And I mentioned that I was suspicious that my husband might have hidden it from me because he's terrified of my thread burner. He thinks I'm going to burn the house down with it. I don't know how powerful he thinks that little thread burner is. And then when I mentioned a few videos ago that I had broken it, she suggested that he might have had something to do with it, which is not a crazy idea. Because he's just terrified of this little thread burner. But I got a new one. So I'm going to burn down this little tail that I've left here. I needed a new one because my old one didn't get that hot anymore. I know they sell the little replacement tips, but my old one had got to where it didn't get hot anymore. So there's my one little flower. And like I said, I don't know how many I'm going to need to go on my bracelet, but I'm going to put a tail on this, or a needle on this tail thread and sew it in just like I did my working thread. So when I come back, we'll start on the base of the bracelet. So I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to start on the base of my bracelet now. I went back and watched my first clip to make sure I set everything right when I went over my materials, and I didn't. I forgot to say that my 11-0s and my 11-0s and my 15-0s are Durcoat galvanized silver. So I've got my 8-0s, my 15 O's. I have 4 11 O's and my wire guardian. I'm going to put my wire guardian on right away, and I just need 4 little 11 O's to do that with. So this is going to be a really, really simple and easy herringbone base bracelet. First I'm going to start out with ladder stitch. So I'm going to pick up 4 of my 8 O's and bring them down. And I'm going to go up the first 2. And I'm just leaving enough of a tail to hold on to, because by the time I sew through this first section of beads as many times as I'm going to, I won't need to sew the tail in. My thread will be locked in well enough that it won't need to be, I won't need to sew the tail in. So I'm going to go back down these 2 and back up the first 2. And go back down the second 2. Pick up 2 more. I'm coming out of the bottom of that column of 2. I'm going to go on the top of it. Back up the 2 I just added. Back down the 2 that I attached them to. Then back up the 2 I just added. So I have 3 columns there. Now I'm going to do 1 more. Pick up 2 more 8 O's. Coming out of the top of those 2, I'm going to go on the bottom of them. Go back down the 2 I just put on. Back up the 2 I attached them to. And then back down the 2 I just put on. Now I know those look separated there, but I'm going to sew back through all these again when I'm done and tighten them up some more. So I've got 4 columns there. I'm going to make 4 more. I'm going to have a total of 8. So when I get my 8 done, I'll be back. Okay, I've got my 8 columns of 8 O's done here. And I'm coming out of these bottom, the last 2 I put on. I'm going to go back through all of these again. I'm just going to go up and down until I get back to the beginning to straighten them up and bring them closer together. Okay, now I'm gonna cut my tail down and burn it down, because I've sewed through it enough now. It's not gonna come out, so I'm gonna cut it down just a little bit, or a lot. Leave a little bit of a tail that I can burn off or burn down. Now, I'm going to put on my wire guardian here now. I'm going to sew back through these until I'm coming out of the 4th column. I'm coming out of the 4th column there. Now I'm going to pick up 2 of my 11 O's, 1 of my 8 O's, and my wire guardian. Go back down the other channel of my wire guardian, back into the 8 O. Hold my finger over the wire guardian so the thread will land in the channel. Now I'm going to pick up 2 more 11 O's. And I started in the 4th column from the end here. I'm going to go into the next one, the 5th column. Put my wire guardian on like that. Now I'm going to go back around this again. I'm going to go back up these 2 8/0s, back into these 2 11/0s, the 8/0 above the 11/0s, and the wire guardian. Back down the other channel of the wire guardian, back into the 8/0, hold my finger over the wire guardian, back down the other 2 11/0s on the other side, and back down that column of 8/0s that they're coming out of. I'm going to do that one more time. I'll go back up this column, back into the 2 11/0s, and the 8/0, and the wire guardian if I can manage it, and I did. And then back down the other channel of the wire guardian, back into the 8/0, hold my finger over the wire guardian, and then go back down the 2 11/0s on the other side, and back down that column of 8/0s that they're attached to. I've got my wire guardian on there. Now I'm going to have to come out one of my ends here. I'm going to go up these 2 8/0s that I've been going up to go around my wire guardian, but I'm just going to come out the 8/0s. And I'll go back down these, back up these, back down these, and now I'm going to start my herringbone stitch. So in herringbone we always pick up 2 beads at once, so I'm going to pick up 2 my 8/0s, coming out of the top of that 8/0 on the end. I'm going to go down the next 8/0, just the one, if I can manage just the one. There we go. And you usually have to kind of arrange them to where their holes are standing up, and they'll be kind of in a little V like that, but that's what they're supposed to be. Now I'm going to go up the next 8/0, pick up 2 more 8/0s, and go into the next 8/0, you're having trouble like I am getting through just one 8/0, you can go through both of them. It's so tight in there, it's kind of hard to get through just the one. There we go. Make sure my beads are sitting with their holes standing up. Now I'm going to go up into the next 8/0. Got these sewed really tightly together. Okay, I'm gonna go on down into this 8/0 under the one I'm coming out of. Probably gonna have as much trouble getting my needle in it though. Okay, I'll try to go back up this one again. Sometimes you gotta angle it and get it up in there. There we go. Now pick up 2 more 8/0s. This time I'm going to go down both of them. It's just a lot easier. And I'm going to go back up these 2. And then I'm going to go down. I'd rather just go down one of these on the end here. Because on the edge here I'm going to put some 15/0s to kind of decorate the edge of my piece. Usually I do that to hide the thread. You wouldn't really be able to see the thread very much with this though, because I'm using white thread against white beads, but I like to kind of decorate up the sides anyway. So I'm going to pick up 2 of my 15/0s. I'm going to go from the bottom of this 8/0 into the bottom of this 8/0. That. Now I'm going to pick up 2 more 8/0s. It'll be easier to get down just one 8/0 this time because they're not so tied together. I'll go down the next 8/0, arrange my beads. I'll go up the next 8/0, pick up 2 more, go down the next 8/0, go up the next 8/0, pick up 2 more, go down the next 8/0, arrange my beads, go up the next 8/0, and then I always flip it before I put these last 2 in. I just find it easier to pull this way. So I'm going to pick up 2 more and go from this 8/0 into the top of this 8/0. And pick up 2 more 15/0s. I'm going to go from the bottom of this 8/0 into the bottom of this 8/0. Pick up 2 more 8/0s. Go from the top of this 8/0 into the top of this one. I hold my finger over them so they don't come loose. And we'll go up the next 8/0. 2 more 8/0s. Go down the next 8/0. Go up the next 8/0. Up 2 more 8/0s. Go down the next 8/0. Go up the next 8/0. And I'll flip it. Pick up 2 more and go down the last 8/0. I'm going to pick up 2 15/0s and go from the bottom of this 8/0 to the bottom of this 8/0. So I'm just going to keep doing this until I get the length that I want, and then I'll figure out how many flowers I need, and I'll have them made by the time I get back, and then we'll put the flowers on top. So I'll be back. Okay, I've got my length now. I know it looks kind of short, but this is 5 inches, and I think my clasping will take a little over 2 inches, so it'll end up being a little bit over 7 inches, I think. And I forgot when I said that I would, and I put away all my 15/0s, and I need a couple more. I forgot when I said I would come back and start putting my flowers on, but I need to sew the end here together first before I put my wire guardian on. And then I'm going to put it on just like I did the other side. So I'm coming out of this 8/0 here where I put on my last 2 in my herringbone. So I'm going to pick up 2 15/0s and go from the bottom of this 8/0 to the bottom of this one. And now my little columns here are not sewn together, so I need to sew them together. So I'm just going to go down a couple of 8/0s here. And then go up these two. And then go back down these two. And back up these two. Then I'm going to go down these two. Then I'm just going to sew these two together. So I'm going to go up these two. And then back down these two. Then back up these two. Oh, I think I went back up the same one. Need to go back down. Oh, maybe I didn't. That was right, I guess. Now I'm going to go back down these two. And then I'm going to go up these two. And then back down these two. And then up these two. So now all my little columns are sewn together now. So now I'm going to go to the fourth one like I did this other side and sew my wire guardian onto the fourth and fifth columns. And then when I get that done, I'll be back and we'll put the flowers on. So I'll be back. Okay, I got my other wire guardian on here now, and I've made 5 of my little flowers that I'm going to put on here. And I've got them laid out here the way I'm going to try to sew them on here. Of course, they probably won't be perfectly the same distance from each other, but I'm going to try to keep them as close as I can. And I'm going to sew this one on here. I've come down a little piece away from my clasp, or my wire guardian. 6 rows down here. Of course, it'll just depend on how wide you make your bracelet and where you want to put your flowers. But I'm coming out of that 8/0 there. I'm gonna go into my 11/0 between my pip beads. I'm really just tacking my flowers down to my bracelet. And now I'm gonna go down into the next 8/0, and under that one that I'm coming out, no, that's the one, yeah, I'm going to go, yeah, I'm going to go back down into this 8/0 under the one I'm started in here. Get that part tacked down. Now I'm going to go through the next petal bead or pip bead and the next 11/0. Make sure my thread lands behind my pip bead. And now I'm going to pull that tight so it'll be tight against my bracelet. Now I'm going to sew this 11/0 to one of my 8/0s down here. Just find the closest one and go through it. And then go up here and go into the next pip bead and the next 11/0. keep pulling it tight so that it stays against my bracelet. Now I'm going to find the 8/0 under this 11/0 and go in it. Be careful not to get caught around the edge of my bracelet. And I'm coming out of that 8/0. I'm going to go up here into this next pip bead and the next 11/0. And I'm going to find an 8/0 under here to go in. And then I'm going to go in the next pip bead and the next 11/0. Then I'm going to find an 8/0 under here to attach this 11/0 to. Let me see where I am here, if I need, how many more I need to do. I think I need that one more there. So I'm going to go through this next pip bead and the next 11/0. And find an 8/0 under there to sew that one into, to attach that one to. So let's see. I think that's on there well enough. I don't think it's going anywhere. So now I'm going to sew down here wherever I decide I want to put my next flower, and sew it on the same way as this one, and just do it all the way along until I get them all on here. And then I'm going to put my clasp on, and when I come back we'll see what I've got. So I'll be back. Okay, there's my bracelet made with some of the beads that I got from the Adornable Elements Beads of the Month Club. I'm afraid I didn't get my little flowers on here hardly as evenly as I would have liked. They're not exactly spaced out the same, but I don't know, maybe that'll make it look more organic. I don't know. It's not a hard bracelet to make. It just takes a little bit of time. The most time-consuming part is putting the little flowers on top. Like I said, if you're not subscribed to any of the Beads of the Month clubs and you decide you want to be, that coupon code will save you 10% off the first month of whichever club or clubs you decide to sign up for. And I get the rotating Beads of the Month club. If you decide to sign up for that one and you use my code, they'll put you on the same rotation that I'm on, which means you'll get the same collection of beads that I do every month. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry and some grab bags of extra beads that I have. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, I hope y'all have a great day. Take care.